Right now, somewhere in the world, a child is taking their first steps. A parent is watching, crying, recording every second. The moment feels enormous. It feels unforgettable. And for the parent, it will be. But for the child, gone. Completely, permanently gone. Why? You have lived through thousands of extraordinary moments you will never remember. Your first word, your first laugh, the first time you recognized your mother's face. These were real experiences. They happened to you. Your brain was active, your emotions were firing. And yet, when you search for those memories today, there is nothing. Just a blank wall where the first years of your life should be. This is called infantile amnesia. And it is one of the strangest mysteries in all of human psychology. For most of history, people assumed babies simply weren't experiencing much. Sigmund Freud believed you do form memories as an infant, but that your mind buries them on purpose. Science has moved on from Freud, but the question remains. The answer begins not with what you forgot, but with what your brain hadn't yet built. Memory is not a hard drive. It is a construction process requiring multiple brain regions working together. And in the first 2 years of life, the most critical part of that system is still being assembled. The hippocampus, the brain structure most responsible for forming long-term memories, is dramatically underdeveloped in infants. New neurons are still being generated. The connections between regions are still being wired. It is not that you experienced something and forgot it. It is closer to saying the recording device hadn't been installed yet. Researcher Patricia Bauer at Emory University has shown that children can form some memories from as early as 9 months old. But those memories are fragile and almost never survive past age 3. The system is functional but unstable, like trying to save a file on a computer that keeps crashing before the save completes. But here is where it gets stranger, because it is not only about brain hardware. Language plays a role most people never consider. As an adult, when something happens to you, you narrate it. You use words to anchor the experience, to give it edges. Memory, for adult humans, is deeply entangled with language. Infants have no language. Without it, experience gets encoded as sensation and emotion rather than narrative. And when you later try to retrieve it using your adult, language-based memory system, you are using the wrong key for the lock. There is also the question of self. To remember something as a memory, you need a stable sense of who you are. You need a continuous self to attach the experience to. Infants are not born with a fully formed self-concept. Before that self crystallizes, there is no you to be the subject of a memory. Experience is happening, but it is not yet happening to someone. Psychologist Martin Conway at City, University of London, found that most people's earliest surviving memories cluster around age 2.5 to 3.5. This is almost exactly when the autobiographical self becomes stable enough to anchor experience to a me that persists over time. So you were not simply forgetting, you were not yet the kind of being who could remember in the way you remember now. And yet, not all of it is gone. Your body remembers. The emotional templates laid down in infancy, the feeling of being held or not held, the sense of the world as safe or threatening, these are encoded in older, deeper systems. The amygdala, the nervous system itself. John Bowlby's research on attachment, later expanded by Mary Ainsworth's landmark studies, demonstrated that the patterns of connection formed with caregivers in your first year create emotional blueprints that operate decades later in your adult relationships. You do not remember being soothed, but your nervous system does. There is a ghost in you, a version of you that existed before memory, before language, before self. And that version is not lost. It is just speaking a language your conscious mind was never taught to hear. This is why certain smells flood you with emotion you cannot explain. Why certain touch feels safe with no logical reason. Why some people feel familiar the moment you meet them, and others trigger discomfort you cannot name. These are messages from the self that existed before you knew you were a self. You spent the first years of your life being shaped by experiences you will never recall. Learning what safety feels like. Learning whether your needs get met. Learning the emotional grammar of human connection. And then language arrived, and the self clicked into place, and you began the version of life you can actually remember. But the version before that is still running, silently, influencing everything. You can't remember being a baby, but your baby self never forgot a thing.